Mr. Commissioner, let's come together and put all the guns away. Let's come together and make a sacrifice. Let's come together and put them all on the ice.
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And the timer in SVG is 7:45, quickly approaching 7:46. And usually at this time, we are expecting commentary from Mr. Kingsley De Freitas. So look at you, Kingsley. Good morning.
Hello, I could hardly hear you. You hearing me?
And we are. We're hearing you loud and clear.
Oh, that's good thing. How was your weekend?
My weekend was not bad. It actually wasn't bad. Well, how was yours?
Terrible.
What happened?
Well, one of the person who died in the incident in Belmont, I know her quite well. She used to be my customer. So that's how close I know her. But hey, what happened? It's a frightening situation in Silverton again with the crime that's taking place. And we were promised by Dr. Gonzalez, who did practice criminal law before the bench, that he, once given a chance, he'll be tough on crime and the cause of crime. We see some frightening escalation of crime, especially killings, over the last 2 years. And when we started out this year as Vincies, and we were hoping that we will see drastic decrease. But this one that took place this weekend really have my mind bothered. You look at a lady who walk every day. You pass up Belmont, she's there doing what she has to do. And some one vagabond decide to go and do what they did and cause the demise of our life. And I asked myself, what could we do as Vincent Shine to deal with the escalation of crime and gun killings in Simpleton again? Some who lack impartiality will say, Mayor Gonzalez, and them who support the NDP will say we will hold him responsible for the issue of crime and escalation. But is that really a fair statement? Could the leader of the opposition and the Prime Minister be responsible for some of the killings that we've seen? I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. But is enough effort being made by the authority to deal with the issue of fighting crime and gun-related crime in Vincies? Some people will say no. Some people will say yes. But those who say yes, we need to hear from them what we can do to find a solution of gun-related incidents in Siblings. And again, spoke to a couple of people over the weekend. They are saying that the authorities should issue firearm license for persons who doing small business like what we were doing. But would that solve the issue? I mean, it's a frightening and complex situation, because you never know who these vagabonds are targeting next. I have a particular route I drive to come to the international airport every morning. I tell you, every morning, probably before you wake up, between 4, 5 o'clock, because you have to come to the airport or to get yourself in line. But I don't walk there anymore because it's a lonely drive, and I always keep in my back of my mind, you never know who's watching you. and you have to be careful. So I don't use that route. I go down the Charlotte road and the main road. I doing that because I'm making an effort to detract the person who is watching you. Remember, you never know who is watching you. And as I said earlier, we as Vincentians have to find ways and to deal with the issue of the escalation of the gun-related crime in Singleton again. Like I said, there are people who would point the finger straight at our guns and say, blame him because he's been in national security, blame him because he's prime minister. But really, would that solve the problem? I don't think that will solve the problem. I just think that you have to think about this issue seriously, come up with individual methods to deal with our personal security, and we probably see a decrease. And for instance, if somebody is listening to us now, and we hope that they are involved, or they see the perpetrators of this last killing that took place in Belmont, please check the police and give them the information, because you never know who these vagabonds are targeting next. And that's my rant for today, and I have a wonderful day, okay?
All right. Thanks very much, Kingsley, and have a safe one today, okay? And that was Kingsley's commentary for today. Very heavy topic. What can Vincies do to deal with the escalation of crime? All right. He's asking, what can Vincentians do to help to cope with the escalation of crime? All right. And for those who may not know, although I want to believe that majority of persons would know by now, 3 persons were killed on Friday night. One of them includes a businesswoman. All right. So just touching on this from Eyewitness News, but this information is available from on all the other news sites. All right. So 3 people, a businesswoman and 2 of her male customers were shot and killed in a shop in Belmont on Friday night, while 2 other persons were injured in the deadliest shooting in SVG in 2 years. All right, 2 years. Leslie Davis died behind the lotto machine where she had been when a gunman opened fire at a shop located below the Belmont Government School around 8:30 p.m. 2 of her customers, Joel Brown, an identical twin, and Damian Cumberbatch, also Belmont residents who were socializing after finishing work at a business place nearby, were also shot and killed. 7-year-old boy, who was said to be one of Davis's relatives, was shot reportedly in the shoulder and remained in hospital on Saturday. However, an adult male who was also injured in the shooting returned to the scene around 12:25 a.m. after being treated at the hospital. All right. So that's just in essence what happened at Belmont on a Friday night. And many persons note or wouldn't know that Miss Davis was a trafficker. And trafficker for us here in SVG is somebody who sells agricultural produce, all right, to other islands, so the Caribbean islands. So that is what happened on Friday night. And on Tuesday, I think it's actually Tuesday, there was the killing of Mr. Stephen King who was shot at his home. All right, so it's not a pleasant story to be talking about, and it is yet another story that we have to talk about because we noted that it is increasing. And you know, the irony of it is that before the killing of Mr. King, you know, many times we think things, but we don't speak them out loud because we don't want for what we're thinking to change the circumstances or change the situation. But I was like, you know, we haven't heard of anything for a while, which is really commendable, which is really good. I was so happy to hear that. You know, the Easter weekend came and passed and we didn't hear of anything. And, you know, I was quite happy to that. But there are times when you think things, but you don't want to speak them because you think that you might jinx the situation. Although, I mean, to be fair, life would play out as it would. It's not a matter of jinxing, but life would play out as it would. But it was truly sad to hear of Mr. King's death. And I noted from the newspapers that I read on the weekend, one of the words that he said to what the words that person's heard him saying is, what I do you, don't kill me. And I can just, well, I don't want to have to imagine, but I can appreciate that you are there at your home, you are chilling out, you're relaxing as you always do, to see somebody approaching you with a gun, and your last thoughts might be, why is this happening to me? You might even find the time before you lose consciousness to thank God for the life, to pray for your family and your relatives, to cover and protect everybody else, to pray for your own soul. You might not have had the time to do that, but the last thing that you are saying, or the last thoughts that might be in your mind, is, why me? Why is this happening to me? And it's just, I don't want to use the word unfortunate, because I feel as if that is just putting it so mildly, and it's not bringing out how it is that I truly feel about this or these situations enough. I looked at the press conference that the police had on Saturday, and I can appreciate that the press conference was held. I think that they tried. But I think Kenton posed a question to them regarding reassuring the public. And I can see that there was difficulty in answering that question. And I too did not feel reassured having listened to the press conference. But this has absolutely nothing to do with the police, right? Because they could only work with what they get. And one of the things that we also have to realize is that many of these criminals, they live among us. Many of us might know these individuals. I remember when I was leaving home on Saturday, I was passing through my community, and I'm sorry, guys from my community who might be listening, but, I'm there saying, Lord, I wonder if I know of any person who's a criminal, right? Somebody who's involved in these type of things, because as I said, they live among us. We don't always know. So they might be interacting just fine with us. But every person who I encounter, I might now have to put a question mark over the head, and it's not the way in which I want to be living. It's not the way in which I want to be thinking. I do not want to look at somebody and think, well, are you involved in such and such? Are you a criminal who has maybe robbed somebody's home, who's taken a life, who has done this or done that? I don't want to have to get to that stage. But unfortunately,
you're getting there.
I'm probably there. All right.
I don't know. Each time these things happen, you ask yourself what more you can say, what more can be done. And at this point, I just have to appeal to families to just look out for the people that you have in your home. Look out for the children that you have. Learn your child, observe your child. I know a lot of times when we think about issues and we hear about issues, we start thinking about the other people and what the other people are doing and what this other person is doing. But the most I could say is we need to think about what we are doing. We need to look at our own people, look at our own actions. We see what is happening. The crime rate is increasing. I can't tell you why. Roleza can't tell you why. I don't know who could tell you why the crime rate is increasing, because there are several factors. But I just feel like we have to just start with our children. Learn your children, observe your children from small, whatever they're involved in. Don't just leave anything. Don't let anything be too trivial. I think sometimes we let things slide as parents. We say, oh, they're small and things will change. But sometimes things don't change. The problem is the people. The problem is not the gun. It's not the knife. It's not the whatever is used. It's the people. It's just us.
And it's not even, and we can't totally put it on government. We can't totally put it on police.
Nope.
Police could only work with the information that they have. Police cannot be everywhere at the same time. Yes, there are measures that are being put in place, and especially with regards to the CCTV. We also see that, yes, they step up patrols in certain areas. But the thing of it is that police cannot be everywhere. All right.
Yeah.
So the onus really is on us as Vincentians to take back our country. All right. I have to also note that there are times when persons, and I see the discussions on social media, it kind of annoys me at this point in time, where so many persons are saying that it's because the youths are unemployed. And it kind of rubs me the wrong way, because I can see from with my own two eyes, and many of you within your own communities can see that there are, activities might be happening within your communities. There are calls for, let's say, persons to work as laborers here, there, or wherever. Things are happening within the country. But yet many of our young men choose to be unemployed. Yet we want to say that crime is as a consequence of unemployment, and I don't buy that. All right. While it is that, yes, maybe it's not possible for everybody to be employed at the same time, there are times when I do think that no, some of these young men out there just do not want to work. And it has absolutely nothing to do with the government. It has to do with maybe many of them thinking that working for your money is just too difficult. So they rather kill, they rather steal. So these type of things that we also have to look into. I noticed that the carnival season is coming up, and I suppose that sometimes we do see a heightened sense of criminal activity happening. Again, it's going to be on business persons, because we notice with these two situations, it's two business persons who have been killed, right? It wasn't a robbery, or it doesn't appear to have been a situation of robbery. So it's now going to put many business persons on alert. And if you have to do that at this point in time, you do, right? There are many business places. I mean, for heaven's sake, I would not think that lineman in a shop on a Friday night would cause me to fall victim, right? I would never think that. I would never think in a rural community that I could fall, or any of us could fall victim to be the victim of a criminal situation, right? But I cannot blame shop owners. I cannot blame anybody who has a business right now if they have to find ways of stepping up their security. If this means even with your own little shop, your own little corner shop, your own little village shop, that you have to install cameras. I mean, the thing of it is that cameras may not necessarily prevent the crime as it's happening at that point in time, but it could help to deal with the solution or resolving the crime. All right. Resolving the crime. So business people may have to step up a bit of security on their premises, and not just business people, homeowners as well. Okay. And I also want to echo something that Kingsley said at the end, where he talked about persons with information, you go into the police. I kind of also tired of seeing on social media where persons in a very ignorant statement would say the police need to solve the crime for themselves, or people don't trust the police. If you have a police friend who you trust, then you tell that police friend who you trust, all right? Police cannot solve crime by themselves. It always leads to, or many times it starts with tips being given to them, and then they can take it further. And then whatever forensic evidence that they gather, etc., would help to put the person away in a court of law. But it has to be a unified attempt. All of us have to look at this as being our problem. It's not government's problem. It's not police's problem. This is our problem.
Yep.
How many of you would like to go by the roadside and be able to sit down and lime after work? How many of you would like to have your little karaoke sessions within your own villages and within your own communities? How many of you know that carnival is coming up and you have friends and family who are coming home for vacation, who would just like to be out in the communities and enjoying life? You're working so hard, you just want to be able to relax a little bit. How many of us would like to be able to do that? And if we don't think that we play a part in solving crime, then something is significantly wrong. And with that, that was my rant for today.
I see somebody in the live here saying it's a family breakdown. And I just to appeal to our families, because the thing is, we're not born as adults. We're born as children. We are the responsibility of somebody. Somebody's expected to take care of us. They're expected to nurture us in every single way. And I feel like sometimes as parents, we wait until it's too late. At this point, seeing what is going on, I don't think that any one of us are happy with what is taking place. Look into your children, right? Don't look into the company they keep, even from a small age. Don't assume they're just small. I think if we could remember having an interview with an officer the other day talking about cyber issues and issues with his children and some of the things, his reaction to some of the things that they have to face. I don't think it would be okay to think that children cannot think of certain things or they can't be involved in certain things. I'm not saying children are killers, right? But what I'm saying is we have to look into our children from small, look into everything that they have, the devices they have, the where they go. If you have to limit some of the places where they go, observe your child, know your child, because you cannot wait until they are an adult. As we say in Vincies, bend the tree when it is young, because it cannot bend an old tree. Work on your children so that at least we could let's start from there and probably have some fresh set of people coming up. That's the most that I could say.
And as well, too, you would observe patterns where, let's say, they're bringing home things that don't belong to them.
Yeah.
In the school system, you see that. Our parents will tell us to carry it back, right? So if you observe things in them from they're young, they're coming home with things that you can't give an account for. You know that you haven't bought. You have to nip it in the bud. But even when they are an adult, you know your son ain't walking nowhere, but he always everywhere. Or he have a set of money. You know your son ain't walking anywhere. You don't inquire. You don't ask. All of these things are what we talk about when we say that we're harboring individuals. All right. So,
yeah.
Any final?
Just to add to that, teach your children about what is accepted and what is not accepted. I don't want to say right or wrong, but teach your children about what is accepted, what is not accepted in society from the time they are small, so that when they get to a certain age, understand that aggression is it's a natural response. It's a natural defense mechanism. I think we're all prone to acting out in certain ways. So what you can do is teach your children how to deal with those emotions. That's something that they do teach them in school, but you also have to encourage that at home. When they come home, they can't just learn it in school and then they come home and it falls off and that's it until they go back to school again. Teach your children how to deal with emotions. If you don't know how to deal with yours, then look for help. We look for help when we want other things. So we could look for help. There are many people in this society that can help. Schools have counselors. Tell the teacher, say, Miss, I find that my child doesn't react. I find that my child is very aggressive. The least little thing, he pitching this, he pitching that, and I can't help him because he probably get it from me. Just be real with yourself. Be honest and go seek whatever help you need to seek. Don't wait until they come big to try and talk to them. Because when we are adults, I don't care. We ain't got time to listen to you. We're adults. Yeah.
And with that, we are going to end this segment for today. Time here in SPJ is 8:06, and our time check came to you with the compliments of New Haven Funeral Home.
Death